The 5 Rand Trial 1989 South Africa coin stands as one of the most intriguing and elusive pieces ever associated with modern numismatics. It is not just a coin but a silent witness to a period of transformation, uncertainty, and redesign within South Africa's monetary history. Unlike regular circulation coins that pass through countless hands and everyday transactions, this trial issue was never intended for public use in the normal sense. It was created for evaluation, experimentation, and assessment, making it a rare artifact born more from process than purpose. During the late 1980s, South Africa's minting authorities were exploring changes in coinage design, composition, and production techniques. This was a time when many countries around the world were modernizing their currencies, improving durability, and refining anti-counterfeit features. In that atmosphere of innovation, trial strikes like the 5 Rand 1989 piece were produced in extremely limited numbers. These coins were not final approvals for circulation but rather test pieces, struck to evaluate how designs would appear on metal, how details would hold under pressure, and how the overall aesthetics would be received by decision makers. The 5 Rand denomination itself carried significant importance in South Africa's monetary system. It represented a higher value coin, often reserved for substantial transactions or savings. Because of this, any redesign or experimental version of such a coin would naturally receive intense scrutiny. The 1989 trial issue reflects that careful attention. Every detail, from the portrait elements to the inscriptions and edge finishing, was part of a broader process of refinement. What makes this specific trial coin so fascinating to collectors is not just its origin but its extreme scarcity. Trial coins, by their nature, are rarely produced in large quantities. In many cases, only a handful of examples are struck for internal review. Some are archived, some are destroyed, and only a very small number escape into private hands through various channels over time. The 5 Rand 1989 trial issue falls into this category of near-mythical rarity. For many collectors, it is more of a legend than a frequently seen specimen. The design language of the coin reflects the era in which it was conceived. Late 20th century South African coinage often featured strong symbolic imagery, detailed engravings, and national motifs intended to represent identity and heritage. The trial version maintains that tradition but often includes subtle differences that distinguish it from the finalized circulation design. These differences may include variations in font thickness, spacing of lettering, relief depth, or even slight adjustments in portrait rendering. To the untrained eye, it might appear similar to a regular coin, but to an expert, these nuances are everything. One of the most compelling aspects of trial coins is the story they tell about the minting process itself. Unlike finished currency, which is designed for mass production, trial strikes are part of experimentation. They reveal the decision-making stages behind what millions of people eventually carry in their wallets. The 5 Rand 1989 trial coin represents a moment where design concepts were tested against physical reality. How would the metal respond? Would the details remain sharp after striking? Would the design remain legible after wear? These questions are embedded in the coin itself. Collectors are drawn to such pieces not only for their rarity but also for the historical narrative they carry. Each trial coin becomes a frozen moment of decision-making, preserved in metal. In the case of this South African issue, it reflects a country navigating complex internal and external changes while still maintaining its institutional processes like currency development. That duality of historical context and technical experimentation adds depth to its appeal. The condition of surviving examples plays a major role in their desirability. Since trial coins were not intended for circulation, many of those that survive are in relatively high condition. However, handling, storage, and time still affect them. A well-preserved specimen of the 5 Rand 1989 trial issue can exhibit sharp details, clean fields, and strong visual impact. These qualities significantly enhance its value among serious collectors who prioritize both rarity and preservation. Another important factor is authentication. Because of the high value and rarity associated with trial coins, they are often subject to imitation or misrepresentation. Proper verification through expert numismatists or recognized grading authorities becomes essential. The 5 Rand 1989 trial coin, when authenticated, carries a weight of credibility that places it in a completely different category compared to standard commemorative or circulation issues. In the broader world of coin collecting, trial pieces occupy a unique space. They are not commemoratives, which are issued to celebrate events. They are not circulation coins, which are meant for everyday use. Instead, they exist in a transitional category, between concept and reality. This in-between status is what makes them especially desirable. They represent possibility, experimentation, and the unseen side of minting history. The market for such rare coins is influenced heavily by collector demand, historical significance, and scarcity. When a piece like the 5 Rand 1989 South Africa trial coin appears for sale, it often attracts attention from international collectors, private investors, and numismatic institutions. Its value is not just in its metal content but in its story, rarity, and the prestige associated with ownership. Over time, coins like this tend to appreciate in value, particularly as awareness grows and surviving examples become even harder to find. Unlike modern mass-produced collectibles, trial coins cannot be recreated once destroyed or finalized into different designs. This permanence of scarcity contributes to long-term value stability and often upward price movement in specialized markets. For many collectors, owning such a coin is not just a financial investment but an emotional and intellectual one. It represents a connection to a specific moment in minting history, a tangible link to decisions made decades ago in mint workshops. The 5 Rand 1989 trial issue embodies that connection in a particularly strong way because of its limited nature and historical timing. The fascination with rare coins often lies in their hidden stories. While paper records can describe minting decisions, only physical specimens like this coin provide direct evidence of those experimental stages. The weight, texture, and visual detail all contribute to an understanding that goes beyond written documentation. Holding a trial coin is like holding a prototype of history itself. As interest in global numismatics continues to grow, coins from transitional periods such as the late 1980s in South Africa gain increasing attention. Collectors seek pieces that are not just old but meaningful, not just rare but historically significant. The 5 Rand trial coin fits perfectly into that category, offering a combination of scarcity, context, and aesthetic appeal. In auctions and private sales, such coins are often positioned as centerpiece items. They are not secondary additions to a collection but highlight pieces that define the value and prestige of the entire set. Their presence alone can elevate a collection status in the eyes of experts and enthusiasts alike. Even beyond the collecting world, coins like this serve as educational artifacts. They help illustrate how currency evolves, how governments test and refine monetary systems, and how small experimental stages can lead to widely circulated designs. The 5 Rand 1989 trial issue is a perfect example of that invisible developmental process made visible. As time continues to pass, the number of known specimens is unlikely to increase. If anything, awareness may increase while availability remains static or decreases further. This imbalance between demand and supply is a key driver of long-term value in numismatics. In conclusion, the 5 Rand trial 1989 South Africa coin is far more than a simple metal piece. It is a rare artifact of experimentation, a symbol of minting evolution, and a highly sought-after collectible in the global numismatic market. Its scarcity, historical context, and unique production status combine to make it a standout piece for serious collectors and investors alike.
$100,000.